Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool and Ethereum ecosystems. My name is Wack. Today is October 10th, and today's episode on the Rocket Pool side is going to cover a sentiment shift, maybe. Let's see what happens with that. And then we've got news of NodeSet releasing their release client 1 of Hyperdrive. On the Ethereum side, the big news of the day is Unichain and what that means. So let's cover all that and more right now.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So in this first section, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth. So I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. So I hope you guys can all stay with me. But I'm going to be starting with this tweet right here from Domothy. And Domothy, for those of you who don't know, works with Scroll, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Domothy's been around for a while and has a bit of a reputation of being someone who's smart and knowledgeable. And here he's replying to one of Jasper's tweets by saying, "I haven't looked into RPL in a hot minute. What's the latest, greatest write-up on current tokenomics?" So this idea isn't specifically about Domothy here asking this question. This is to show that there's been a shift in sentiment in the Rocket Pool community, and people from the outside or people who have previously been on the peripheries of the community are starting to ask questions about what's going on. And we're not anywhere at a critical mass, and this might be a false dawn, but I feel like there's more and more instances of this starting to happen. I'm seeing it on Twitter, I'm seeing it on Reddit, I'm seeing it in the Rocket Pool community. I haven't seen any outside people mention Rocket Pool yet, which is fine, but maybe, we can get a Banklinks mention in a couple of weeks' time. That would be really cool. But, when the ETH only validators goes live, maybe we can tag David Hoffman or something when he's curating the news for the week. But what I'm saying here and what I'm trying to explain is that there's a small shift that's happened, and it's been the last time we had a week of TVL growth in the protocol was in January. That should tell you that there's been 10 months that we haven't had a single week of TVL growth. In that time, it's just been down only. And of course, the RPL price in accordance with that has been down only as well. And now there's the hope of a huge boost in TVL coming up. And Jasper's been doing a really good job of talking about Rocket Pool on Twitter and kind of getting the word out to people that he knows. But we're going to be talking about that in a couple of minutes. But what I wanted to show you that is that this is starting to happen. And then if we look at the Rocket Pool Discord, we're starting to get people here like Celtic Warrior saying that how much ETH per mini pool is needed in Saturn Zero. I've been a solo staker since Genesis of ETH2, and I've deliberately stayed clear of Rocket Pool because of RPL exposure, but I'm considering dipping my toes into the water now. And says, I noticed that most of the docs appear to be written for people that have been using Rocket Pool for a long time. Some simple overview info would be good. So what Celtic Warrior here is saying that there are things happening and they want to come to Rocket Pool. And the thing that's happening is that Rocket Pool is becoming a lot more accessible to node operators out there. So it looks like, there's the growth factors for Saturn Zero are that will be more attractive to new node operators who previously never staked with Rocket Pool, like Celtic Warrior here, will also be more attractive to existing node operators because they won't need the RPL requirement. So if they've been exiting validators because they wanted to keep their RPL ratio higher, then they can bring their validators back in without any worry about impacting their RPL rewards. There's also a bunch of users who are on 16 ETH validators. They'll be able to switch down to 8 ETH validators now without having to worry about their RPL collateral levels. So all of these different cohorts and groups. On top of that, we should add as well, there's larger entities who have wanted to stake with Rocket Pool before. They didn't want RPL exposure and, they wanted to get married or whatever, and those marriages weren't possible for whatever reason. Now they don't need to get married. They can just stake themselves. So I feel like there's a lot of node operator ETH waiting on the sidelines, just waiting for these changes to go through. And that might be me hyping things up again. And I said that I wouldn't hype it again, but I'm just too excited about this. And the reality of it is that we're starting to see signs now of a new wave of Rocket Pool growth coming. The main thing that then has to happen with that, right, is that we need our ETH demand. And the deposit pool currently has around 40,000 ETH in there. So that means that, that can be emptied, which would be a very nice, 50 plus thousand ETH TVL increase, which would be amazing. And maybe that would be about 1,500 or 2,000 validators, something around those kind of numbers. But what we really need, I think, now is the deposit pool to get full again, some big minting happening, because we haven't had mints for months. Literally for months, we've the deposit pool has been overflowing, and we need some more minting happening of our ETH, and then we need more growth coming from the node operators to kind of match that. So this is a really exciting time. I'm really hopeful, but I think that it's like looking at the bigger picture as well. It's not just Saturn 0, but also then with what's coming with Saturn 1 and then Saturn 2. And I know those are some ways away yet, but we're on the right path here, and the community is working on other things as well in order to really help boost our ETH attractiveness and demand. So those things together, I think, would definitely be what I'm keeping my eyes on. Let's have a look at some other examples of people saying that they want to get into Rocket Pool. Right, look in here, Halul loves tagging me in these messages that he comes across. So here there is one from node operators, a person saying that they have set up an 8 ETH mini pool with 0 RPL on testnet. They're so hyped for this to launch on mainnet soon. And then people saying that this is amazing news. That's very positive. So there's a lot of positivity around, and there's a lot of interest, I think, that is kind of coming up with the community, and this is going to be really exciting. Okay, so we were mentioning Jasper a few minutes ago about his tweets, and let's actually have a look at some of his tweets that he's been saying right now. So here he has posts about roadmap. So he says the Rocket Pool roadmap TLDR is one launch constellation with node operators for full solo staking APR on an LST. So that will be XR ETH. It will be a full staking rewards worth of rewards instead of them there being a skim off the commission off that. So it should be some of the best in class rewards, which would be extremely exciting to see. And then that is imminent, Jasper says. Then he says enable ETH only validators to join and build TVL. So that's Saturn 0, which he says 4 to 8 weeks pending vote. So I think Jasper here wrote this on 22nd of September. So it looks like that timeline was kind of on target. At the moment, our date is set to be the 28th of October. It says introduce LEB4s, a new soft revenue split system enabling RPL stakers to benefit from ETH only nodes. That's Saturn 1, like it doesn't have any dependencies on Petra, and then incorporate forced exits with sublinear bonding to 1.5 ETH, complex value capture for RPL, like buy and liquidity providing, inflation cut by 70%. So this is Saturn 2 post Petra, and stake millions of ETH with just home stakers, which of course is really awesome. But then he has been highlighting other things as well, like saying, have you kept up with Rocket Pool news? Big changes are coming. 8 ETH only bond is about to pass governance. And then he says, this is the secret to profit. Build massive TVL with ETH only pools. It's tentatively live on October 28th. Redesign for sublinear bonding and use chunk of total TVL for RPL value capture. And then Petra and crank it, and then profit. So that's pretty exciting. And then like I said, Jasper's really been kind of pushing these tweets and a whole lot of Rocket Pool like news. So he also quoted Celtic Warrior saying, can you feel it? A renaissance is brewing. Rocket Pool, a new era is beginning. Only ETH only validators, no RPL, no LSTs, just ETH. And I quote tweeted him saying, can you see what I mean now? Big things are starting to happen in Rocket Pool land. The hard work the team and community have put in over the last year is about to start blossoming. Get involved to find out what's happening. And then Jasper was talking about hurricane live streams. But yeah, the next thing to talk about here, as I've got the tweet open, so M Team here have Jasper on their show. So here says, mark your calendars, Jasper and I will be chatting everything solo staking. So there's a Twitter space that's taking place this evening, and it said that the topics they'll cover is what is solo staking, how is that different from home staking, who are solo stakers, why they're necessary for sensitive resistance, and is resonate crazy? Is ETH World War III resistant? And how do Ethereum upgrades affect solo stakers? So there are going to be questions from the audience as well. So if you are interested in that, then definitely check it out, because Jasper's always a fun person to listen to, and he's got really cool perspectives. So I'll be listening to that later today. Okay, so we got some actually interesting news, something that kind of helped give a little boost, a pep boost to the community. And this was Thomas staking some RPL and starting new validators. So this was Thomas's number 3 node, and he staked 40,000 RPL. So that was quite a big stake for the first time in a while. And then he spun up like a whole bunch of validators, which was absolutely lovely to see. So I'm really happy that Thomas is still adding to his validators, which is great. And you know that he's still in Rocket Pool, and even though he's not in the Discord that much, like he's still happy with his validators and his stake. So he set up a whole bunch of new validators overnight, which of course is really, really great to see. And the deposit pool stats now is that it's down below 40,000 and it's at 39,614. So hopefully we will get more, hopefully that number won't go up too much more by the time actually maybe let it go up, but it got up by node operators exiting, which we don't want. But to have the ETH there ready means that, on day 1 or day 2, potentially there won't be much of a queue for people who want to start up those ETH-only validators. So that would actually lead to a much better user experience for those people. If a queue develops, then that's when people are going to have to start worrying about balancing gas costs with rewards. And if the queue gets really long and the gas gets really high, it just won't be profitable for people to start ETH-only validators, in the lead up to Saturn, because if it takes you like 3 or 4 months to start your validator, then you won't have recouped any of the costs. By the time Saturn 1 comes, you'll have to exit again to join the queue for mega pools. Okay, moving on to some staking news now. Here we have this post from Joe, and Joe, of course, used to be a Rocket Pool team dev and now is a NodeSet team dev. And he says, "Hey, Hyperdrive beta testers. Today we have published released candidate version 1.1.0 of Hyperdrive. This adds some important improvements the community helped us find with beta 2. And this adds an important feature for NodeSet.io support, so it's a required upgrade for beta testers." And then it says the release candidate should only be used on Haleshi test network. It's not for mainnet. And then there's some known issues with Lodestar and Reth. And the key changes are updated Nethermind Teku and MEV boost. Signed exits now encrypted locally before sending to NodeSet.io, in addition to regular TLS encryption. Thanks to Popash for suggesting this enhancement. And then the command line interface now ensures the existence of daemon JWT authentication keys every command instead of just service install and service start for enhanced backwards compatibility with previous daemons. So this is a new version that people who are beta testing should move to. I haven't started my beta testing yet, which I really need to get on top of, because it looks like, with release candidate 1 coming out here, it looks like NodeSet are ready to go live any day now, and that is incredibly exciting. We still don't have a date. We still don't have, a number, but I think we're getting closer and closer with these release candidate versions of the software. And Joe tagged me saying, "How do you like me now?" And I said, "I love you, Joe." So Joe's doing really cool stuff. NodeSet guys are doing really cool stuff. We just need to get ready and launch and let them cook, as they say. Okay, let's move on to some Ethereum news now. And the biggest Ethereum news of the day is the announcement of Unichain. So this is a new layer 2 that has been set up by Uniswap. And they said that this is a new L2 designed for DeFi. So they're going to have fast blocks of 1/4 of a second, 250 milliseconds, cross-chain interoperability, and decentralized validator network built to be the home for liquidity across chains. So this, they're going to a bit of an announcement here of what they're doing and how it's all going to work. And it says Unichain will be so fast the transaction will feel instant, so like 1/4 of a second basically. And then they're saying that it's designed to provide seamless multi-chain swapping, and the reason for that is because it's built on the superchain. And they say Unichain will support native interoperability for fast, secure cross-chain transactions, and this will support standards like ERC 7683 to make swapping seamless across all chains. So this is actually like part of the key here, that Uniswap will be putting Unichain into the OP stack, and using the OP stack and putting it into the OP superchain, and all the OP superchain chains will be able to work with Uniswap and Unichain like really easily here, like native interoperability. So that's incredibly exciting. Some of the things they were talking about was that to be a validator on the Uniswap, as part of their decentralized validation network, you will have to stake the Uni token. And they said that the number of validators that they choose to have, they will choose those with the most amount of Uni tokens staked. So there's a chance that it could lead towards some kind of like delegation system, like a delegated proof of stake system almost, that will of course kind of be a centralization vector. But the fact is that they're trying to push this Unichain, which of course I think is going to be incredibly successful. Now, Hayden Adams here, who's the founder of Uniswap, he says they're excited to announce this. This has been 6 years of designing and building in the DeFi space. It's going to be on the super chain. One of the things is that they will prevent MEV loss and theft by having their systems set up in a certain way. And we're going to be talking about that in a minute. But they said the interview value can't run in a single chain. Ethereum's roll-up-centric roadmap aims to scale by having many L2 chains that seamlessly interface with each other. We're excited by this vision and aim to accelerate it. So it says Unichain will be MIT licensed, and we hope to see our tech adopted by others. We're so grateful for our incredible community of users and builders. For more information, read our blog post, etc. So that was pretty cool. And then they also had a Bankless episode that went out with this. And then Optimism, of course, were getting in on the act, promoting their superchain and saying how this is going to be awesome. And Optimism really are taking like leaps and bounds forward. I'm going to be talking about that in a second, but there's this interesting take here from Ericsson, who Ericsson.eth says, so much for apps not internalizing their MEV, lol. Seriously, can anyone explain why they built this on the superchain other than to extract value? Going with base sequences would have been better for interoperability, liveness, censorship resistance, and credible neutrality. So Ericsson, of course, works with the based rollup, Tyco, which is a base rollup, and they have a different approach to settlement down to layer 1 and interoperability and stuff. But this is the idea, the accusation that Ericsson is making is that a whole lot of MEV happens on Uniswap on layer 1 Ethereum, right? And you get lots of bots like Jared from Subway and a whole lot of others that kind of arbitrate or try to front run or sandwich attack users and extract MEV from those users with the Unichain, and depending on how they set up their validators, that will be taken by Uniswap pretty much. So they'll be taking those fees instead of MEV bots, etc. So Ericsson then goes on to explain his point by saying, seeing a lot of people saying that this is bearish for ETH. No, this is bearish for L1s. And they're all going to accrue less and less value as apps internalize the MEV. Right now, ETH is a bit more mature, but the same thing will happen soon on all L1s. So what Ericsson is saying is that MEV, there's just too much of it there, and instead of letting it leak to bots and other places like to layer 1 even, like through gas fees and stuff like that being burned, what you can do is these chains, they can capture it for themselves, and they don't even have to capture all of it to make really good money. They can just capture a percentage of it, right? And they can actually end up being very, very successful with that. But this is with all that said, this is actually huge. This is a huge time for Optimism to shine, and it's a big coup for them that Uniswap is going to Optimism. And then DC Investor says, not sure how this all plays out, but in general, I think app chain layer 2s will be how 95% of users interact with blockchains in less than 5 years. So the idea is by the time the next cycle comes around, if we still follow cycle systems, people will be interacting with chains like standalone, but they'll be interoperable with each other, and it'll be a seamless experience. It'll be like Ethereum will be like, the hub of all these chains, and you'll be doing stuff across different apps and different places. You won't even notice that you're doing that. Like, it'll just seem like it's just one beautiful playground, and you can do whatever you want on there, which is a really exciting vision, and I really hope it comes to pass like the way DC investors are describing. One of the things I like to give kudos to Optimism for is that they are really pushing the boundaries here. Like, they have some of the biggest names in the world, like in crypto and like in the world itself, like coming and building on OP on the OP stack. And we have Base, which is Coinbase, which is one of the biggest exchanges, I think the second biggest exchange in crypto. That's as part of the OP stack. Now Unichain, which is the biggest decentralized exchange on crypto, is now on the super chain. We have Sony, who are building on the super chain. So all of these things together, I think, paint a bright picture for Optimism. And they've got so much money. They've got, like we were talking about, I think in yesterday's episode or the day before, they've got $1 billion that they could be throwing at this stuff. So that's an astonishing amount of money. And I think they're going to do very, very well with their BD stuff and acquisition of, well, not acquisition, but attracting these different apps and protocols to the super chain. It's only a matter of time before you see like an Aave super chain Aave L2 on the super chain potentially, or whatever else they might go. But there's a lot going on here. Okay, and just as we were talking about Base, right now Base is just going gangbusters, and here this is on-chain HQ getting information from Grow the Pie, and what they're showing is that the L2s are performing extremely strongly, and that is thanks to Base in a lot of ways. They hit an all-time high with 5.5 million transactions, and now it's the most dominant, even more than dominant ETH L2 ecosystems, far outpacing Arbitrum, Optimism, Mainnet, and others. So if we have a look over here, like they're just, the chart for them is just up and to the right, like pretty much straight growth, whereas others have like ebbs and flows of their growth and how it's working. But this is absolutely like phenomenal growth from Base, and I think this is just the beginning. Like, Base, of course, is trying to present itself in a certain way. They've got a captured audience from Coinbase's 50 million plus users. It's only a matter of time before other other protocols built on top of crypto, etc., are going to start this as well. There's just too much money there for them to not do it. Like, I think PayPal should be starting their own L2, and you get Visa and MasterCards to start their own L2s and try to get their audiences on chain as well. The growth factor there is like truly astonishing, and there's a whole lot to be gained for these corporations and companies and protocols by doing this. And of course, the more they do it, then the more it'll make others do it, and the more others do it, then the more the reality of ETH as the global settlement layer, but Ethereum as the global settlement layer, ETH as the global money, like those theses will start to play out more and more strongly, and I'm here for that. Okay, so recently we had some news from the Buidl fund and how they're kind of like growing. Well, here we have news from Securitize, who are the people who run the Buidl fund with BlackRock, and they're saying that we're excited to announce that Buidl has secured the largest allocation in Athena Labs' reserve fund real-world asset allocation, chosen for our leading RWA platform, strong brand and proven track record. Buidl enables institutions to diversify reserves and manage treasuries effectively with USDC subscriptions and redemptions, and a current $500 million AUM, that's assets under management. Buidl continues to lead in innovation and efficiency. Congrats to all the winners. Check out the full details below, and then there's the Athena Foundation details that you can go and have a look at. But yeah, this is growing more and more. They're building these relationships with crypto companies, and it's only a matter of time before they hit $1 billion, and then $10 billion, and then many more billions after that. Ryan Berkman's here says BlackRock continues to grow its Buidl TVL with market opportunities on the L1. come for the tech, stay for the marketplace. The ETH L1 will be the Manhattan of the world. So this is kind of stealing this idea from Michael Saylor, who says Bitcoin is Manhattan of crypto. And he says that it's the best place in the world, basically, and how everyone wants to be there. Well, Ryan's kind of counteracting that by saying that Ethereum is the place where you can actually go and do stuff. Yeah. That's really exciting. Okay, moving on to some other news now. Here we have, just hold on a second. Okay, here we have this article from Reuters, which is, of course, traditional media company, saying US charges 3 companies and 15 people with cryptocurrency fraud. So what's going on over here? You'll see that, Reuters is being really slow for me, saying the 3 cryptocurrency companies and 50 people have been charged in engaging in widespread fraud and market manipulation following an investigation which the FBI for the first time directed the creation of a new digital coin to help authorities ferret out crime. Said federal prosecutors in Boston charged the firms GoBit, ZM Quant, and CLS Global and the leaders and employees of those other companies in a takedown that has led to 4 arrests, agreements by 5 people to plead guilty, and the seizure of over $25 million worth of cryptocurrency. And then there's more information there as well. But here, let's go get some crypto takes from this. So DB here say, wow, this case gets even more more insane. The FBI created their own coin called the Next Fund AI token and enlisted the services of the firms indicated to catch them. Firms indicted to catch them. The FBI took the unprecedented step of creating its very own cryptocurrency token and company to identify, disrupt, and bring these alleged fraudsters to justice. The Next Fund AI token was cryptocurrency token created at the direction of law enforcement. Next Fund AI operated on the Ethereum blockchain and was a security. So this is really interesting. One of the things that's happened is meme coins called Next Fund AI have actually started popping up. But this is how it goes. So they're actually setting up these traps now for criminals. So you might be thinking the better or worse of this, but that's information here. The United States District Attorney's Office in Massachusetts has put out this article kind of explaining it and giving a little bit more details of what's happening and what the people are being accused of, and they basically were trying to manipulate things to hike up the price of the tokens. And DC Investor says the FBI is literally launching tokens on Ethereum L1 and you're bearish. So it just makes you think that, this is still whatever's happening, good or bad, it's all happening on Ethereum because, of course, it's permissionless and anyone can do what they want, including trap criminals, apparently. And then here there's a meme that someone shared in the Rocket Pool Discord with an adult man, basically with a mustache, with the hat saying "Not FBI" and the T-shirt saying "Fun Blockchain Inventor" with FBI, and saying "How do you do, fellow degens?" Of course, it's a riff on the meme with "How do you do, fellow kids?" But I thought that was funny, so I thought I'd cover that for you all. But that wasn't the only thing that was happening in charges with crypto. Here we had the SEC charges Cumberland DRW with acting as unregistered dealer in crypto transactions. So here the quick tick is Cumberland DRW LLC was charged on Thursday for conducting itself as an unregistered dealer. The charges are the latest move by the US SEC cracking down in the crypto industry. So there's some information basically saying that they were trading $2 billion of cryptocurrencies, but they were not registered as dealers. And here they are actually fighting back. So Cumberland have responded, and they're saying that today we became the latest target of the SEC's enforcement first approach to stifling innovation and preventing legitimate companies from engaging in digital assets. This comes despite partisan pushback on the topic. In this approach, the recent House Financial Services Committee hearing, in which the SEC was called a rogue agency, cited for its failure to work with Congress and taken to task for abusing its power. So They said that they're going to fight it, and so we're not making any changes to our business operation or the assets which would provide liquidity as a result of this action by the SEC. We are confident in our strong compliance framework and disciplined adherence to all known rules and regulations, even as they've been a moving target. And it says it wasn't long ago that the SEC claimed Ethereum's ETH was security. This is so yeah, they're going to fight. So good on them. And people are saying based. That's really cool. And people are otherwise, blaming the SEC. So good job, Cumberland. One of the things from this is that the SEC, it seems like, is kind of attacking crypto native companies, and I think they want them to be replaced with like TradFi companies doing the same services. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, we saw recently that Wells Fargo got given an exception for holding crypto under the SAB 121 rules. And I think more and more of those kind of TradFi companies are going to be getting those kind of exceptions made for them so they can move in on this space. And these crypto native companies who have been providing these services for years and trying to act in good faith and, are doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, then getting hit with these notices and enforcement actions. So this is an ongoing battle, and it's going to get decided in the courts most likely if these companies decide to fight it. And then we'll be getting a whole bunch of rulings pretty much like week after week saying that the SEC loses, hopefully. But this is definitely one to watch and see what comes next. And finally, we're going to end the episode with this questionnaire that Schwab put out, that Nate covered here on Twitter. And it says that new Schwab service out where they asked ETF investors which asset class they plan on investing on in next year in 2025 by ETFs. And the number one asset for millennials was crypto. At 62% of millennials investors who answered the survey said that they will invest in crypto in 2025. For Gen X, who are a little bit older, from I think 1965 to 1980, there's 44% of them. And then boomers, those who are older than that, they said 15% of those will invest in crypto. But overall, for all respondents, crypto was actually the second biggest area that people want to invest in. So it looks like, as these funds get paths on which they can buy the ETFs, it looks like they'll be purchasing them potentially next year, which just gives more and more evidence that, we could be on the verge of that 4-year cycle still maintaining and potentially getting some kind of market top in like 6 to 8 months, potentially maybe 12 to 15 months. I'm not sure when, but things are definitely lining up that it might play out that way. So I'm here for it. I'm excited about it, and I'll be helping you all along the way and like telling you what's going on. But on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.